And if he wants to play Dillon, trot him out there. Keep explaining to us why he's playing, and it's going to show us in real time you don't know what you're talking about. Because you told us in the draft this was your hand-picked quarterback. It is the exact reason Shedeur Sanders doesn't get reps, because he's going to give every opportunity for Dillon Gabriel to throw his way out of purgatory. It's the reason he dropped back 58 times against the Steelers. The jig is up, Kevin. We understand what it is.
So get this. Shedeur Sanders, head coach Kevin Stefanski, and quarterback Dillon Gabriel all share the same agent, and the internet's acting like it just cracked open the NFL's biggest reality show plot twist. People are saying it's giving Keeping Up with the Quarterback's energy, a full-on crossover between sports and soap opera chaos. Whatever's cooking behind the scenes, it smells way off, and it's definitely not the Gatorade. Things are about to get real messy. It's always the ones who act calm that end up stirring the biggest storms. You know the type. Coaches preaching team growth and player evaluation while their franchise burns quietly in the background like a luxury car showroom on fire. Kevin Stefanski, the so-called cool-headed leader of the Cleveland Browns, just turned what should have been a simple quarterback question into a full-on corporate thriller. Every move feels calculated, every quote rehearsed, and now it's all starting to make sense. See, here's the wild part. Stefanski and Gabriel, the same duo everyone's been side-eyeing for weeks, are both represented by the same agent. Yup, you heard that right. The man calling the business shots for both the coach and his chosen quarterback is none other than super agent Jimmy Sexton. Talk about a plot twist straight out of a sports conspiracy doc. Picture this. Somewhere in a sleek corner office, Jimmy's probably sipping espresso, watching chaos unfold, and smiling like he's playing 4D chess while everyone else is still figuring out checkers.
Personal. It might not be personal for Kevin Stefanski, but it appears personal. And it's one of those situations where it's like, Kevin Stefanski, we don't care what you're telling us because your actions speak so loud, we can't even hear what you're saying. Your actions speak crazy loud. Like, if Shedeur Sanders was favored in your eyes, one, you'd speak better than saying, that's not my focus. What the hell you mean it's not your focus? Roster construction is your focus. The backup quarterback is your focus. Backups on the roster are your focus. Everything that dictates who plays in the game on Sunday, Kevin Stefanski, that should...
It's a power move that explains everything. Not in a that makes sense way, but in a this is some serious behind-the-scenes string-pulling kind of way. Suddenly, Cleveland's weird offensive choices don't just look questionable, they look intentional. Ever wonder why Shedeur Sanders, one of the most hyped rookies in the league, somehow keeps getting mysteriously injured right when his name starts trending as a possible starter? Every time he's close to breaking through, boom! Another minor setback, a sore ankle here, a little back stiffness there. It's like the man's body has perfect timing for drama. But maybe, just maybe, it's not his body breaking down. Maybe it's his contract keeping him down. Think about it. Every time Shedeur's moment gets close, something conveniently pops up, a vague medical report.
Yes, it does, but I just want to make the point that we just have to be better in every area, and we'll look at everything we do, including, you know, how we're putting these guys in position to succeed. Are we doing enough? When I say looking at every position, are we doing enough with the quarterback position? Do we need to do a better job? And I think I know the answer is yes.
Why wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not
a coach preaching about stability, a press conference filled with the same tired lines. He's improving. He's focused. He's getting better every day. Translation? He's not playing because the people in charge don't want him to. And that smells more like business than football. It's almost divine intervention. If God were an NFL agent working overtime with a portfolio full of conflicts of interest the size of Ohio. Stefanski keeps talking about putting players in better spots, but his version of that seems to mean doing the exact same thing over and over while pretending it's part of some master plan. But here's where things get really wild. Internet sleuths just dug up something huge. Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Browns, doesn't just share an agent with his current quarterback, Dillon Gabriel. Oh no, it goes way deeper. Turns out the same agent, Jimmy Sexton, also represents Dillon Gabriel's former college coaches, Oregon's Dan Lanning, Oklahoma's Brent Venables, and UCF's Gus Malzahn. That's right, they're all part of the same cozy, money-making CAA family. It's like uncovering that your boss, your coworker, and your HR rep all go to the same therapist. Suddenly, everything clicks. You realize you're not paranoid. You're just not part of the group chat. That small world excuse people throw around doesn't hit the same when the same handful of guys keep landing the same cushy opportunities. So when you hear that soft whisper through a Bluetooth headset, maybe stick with Gabriel for now.
So we're gonna go ahead and go play stupid, like Dillon Gabriel didn't get 52 passing attempts, get sacked 6 times, have a quarterback rating of 34, and look as bad as possible. And Kevin Stefanski continues to gaslight and tell people that, yeah, it's my decision, he gives us the best chance to win. Is he watching the same Dillon Gabriel that I'm watching? See, the thing is, when you hear all the narratives about Shedeur Sanders and it got nothing to do with football, or
you have to wonder, is that football strategy talking or the sound of quiet loyalty cashing another check? The NFL has always had its fair share of politics, but this is straight up Broadway level drama. What's unfolding in Cleveland feels less like a football story and more like a full-blown performance, complete with hidden agendas, scripted interviews, and a star player stuck waiting in the wings. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, a guy who could have chosen any team in the league, is watching from the sidelines while a rookie quarterback whose biggest strength seems to be knowing the right people keeps getting the spotlight. Every time we caught a glimpse of Shedeur during preseason, he looked ready. Precision, poise, confidence, the whole package. The kind of natural energy that makes fans lean forward and makes certain coaches sweat. You could see it in his eyes, he was built for this. But every time his name starts circling the rumor mill, boom! The same tired script gets rolled out again. A vague injury update, some cautious optimism, and then total silence. It's like watching a Netflix series stuck on an endless next season coming soon screen. His career right now feels like being on a restaurant waiting list that never calls your name. You're promised a seat, but somehow you never make it past the lobby. Even the teammates are now playing PR instead of football. One of the guards recently said the team just needs to give Dillon time. Of course they do. That's the line every team uses before they clean house and pretend they didn't see the problems coming. They'll blame everything but the obvious. The receivers didn't separate, the line didn't hold, the play calling was too basic, everything except the quarterback, because he's protected, wrapped up in the invisible bubble of agency politics and quiet favors. And let's not forget, Dillon Gabriel's entire football journey has been handcrafted by this CAA connection. From Oregon to Oklahoma to UCF, every major chapter of his career was guided by coaches under the same agency umbrella that now manages his NFL coach.
So Cleveland Browns insider Mary Kay has just reported that Kevin Stefanski is going to stick with Dillon Gabriel coming after the bye week. He's still leaving him in after a horrible performance this week, and majority of the other weeks he hasn't thrown for 200 yards, but in one game, 2 interceptions and a safety, nothing but 2 passes that were over 10 yards in the air, and he's still going to leave him in. This says everything about Cleveland.
It's like he never even left the family, just moved from one branch of the same tree to another. Now that so-called family, the CAA network, basically runs an NFL team. And poor Shedeur, he can't even get an invite to dinner. It's wild. If you squint hard enough, you might even call it impressive. A masterclass in loyalty disguised as professionalism. Every post-game interview, every calm Stefanski press conference suddenly makes perfect sense. He's not just defending his quarterback, he's defending the system that put him there. Because in the NFL, talent might open the door, but connections decide who gets to walk through it. Crazy, right? For years, people clowned college football for its favoritism, boosters, politics, family ties, all that shady stuff. And then the NFL came along and said, "Hold my headset." The Browns, bless their hearts, have turned quarterback management into performance art.
About Dillon and Shedeur is Dillon Gabriel started getting first-team reps immediately after he was drafted. The team, Kevin Stefanski, the coaching staff, they said, this guy's ready for that. He's advanced. He understands the terminology. He understands how the offense operates. He's done this. He gets first-team reps. He's ready to go. We're confident enough in him to trade Kenny Pickett and make him the backup quarterback. We're confident enough to make him the starter, and then we'll trade Joe Flacco and just get him out of here anyway, because we're confident in what Dillon Gabriel can do. He had all summer, all training camp, all preseason as that, the rookie that was taking first-team reps.
This isn't even a conspiracy theory anymore. It's a blueprint, a self-sustaining system where everyone in the inner circle wins except the one player who refuses to play their political game. And that player? That's Shedeur Sanders. The man's done everything right, stayed professional, stayed locked in, and refused to let emotions take over. He's been sitting there watching this chaos like someone stuck at a family holiday dinner where everyone's pretending nothing's wrong. He could have gone to Baltimore. He could have joined Philly. But he made what looked like the smart choice, a chance to grow, to build something in Cleveland. Except now it's clear. Growth in Cleveland is a luxury reserved for the chosen few. And then comes the biggest insult of all. They call it competition, as if Shedeur's out there battling Gabriel on talent alone. He's not. He's fighting against a whole web of backroom politics, agents, and quiet deals that were signed long before preseason even started.
He knew he was going to get asked this question. And your best response, knowing you were going to get asked this question, was, that's not my focus. Like, I do not understand why Kevin Stefanski at least put on a better front. And somebody let Kevin Stefanski know, like, bruh, your disdain for Shedeur is obvious, and or you just got to at least act like you like him more. Act like you're going to treat him like another normal backup quarterback. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the outcome was decided before he ever took a snap. He just didn't get the memo. They love to say the NFL is a meritocracy, that hard work earns you opportunity. Cute, right? In reality, it's more like a live-action episode of Succession, where everyone's quietly plotting, pretending it's about teamwork, while really just protecting their own position. And the cruelest part, Shedeur did prove himself. He dominated preseason reps, ran smooth drives, built chemistry with teammates, and guess what? Most of those teammates got cut. It's almost like anyone who makes him look too good magically disappears from the roster. Coincidence? Please. At this point, you start to wonder, is success the actual problem? Picture being in Shedeur's cleats for a second.
It's clearly obvious he is not anything close to what they told us. And all they've told us is that Shedeur is not any of that stuff. This is supposed to be Kevin's guy, and he can't even run the freaking offense for Kevin. But now it's been 4 games. In 4 games, you should have seen at least a throw, a play where you said, ooh. Now there you go. That's a play that a franchise quarterback or a good starter can make. Hasn't been a single one yet. 4 games. I don't care what anybody says. That's enough time to evaluate and say, it's not going to be that.
You're training nonstop, studying film until 2 a.m., learning every inch of the playbook. And just when it's finally your moment, some agent behind a mahogany desk fires off a quick email that completely redirects your future. One message and boom, your career hits pause again. It's absurd, but in Cleveland, it's starting to look like the new normal. Meanwhile, Browns fans are stuck in their own emotional loop of cautious optimism. They keep convincing themselves things will click eventually, while the offense keeps looking like a group project run by the one guy who didn't even read the assignment. You can see the frustration brewing, but everyone's too scared to say what they really think. Still, there's a small silver lining hiding in the chaos, because in football, just like in business, loyalty only lasts as long as the wins do.
Everybody else is ready to play. Are we sure Dillon Gabriel's ready to play based on what we've seen already?
So what do you think is going on here?
I have no idea, but I'm willing to see what's behind door number 3. I'm willing to make a change for change's sake, because what I've gotten over the last 4 games with Dillon Gabriel is a guy that I have serious questions about whether or not he's an NFL quarterback. Seriously.
So what does Kevin Stefanski want out of this?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out whether or not Kevin Stefanski wants to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Because to continue to stay the course with Dillon Gabriel based on the body of work that we've gotten just doesn't make any sense to me.
When the losses pile up, that shiny facade starts cracking. Reporters start asking uncomfortable questions, and suddenly those whispers of favoritism become front-page headlines. When that moment comes, this carefully crafted little alliance might just crumble from the inside, because loyalty's easy when you're winning, but when you're losing, it turns into a ticking time bomb. Right now, the Browns are standing on that thin, dangerous edge, the moment when patience turns into pitchforks. You can feel it building. The fans are restless, the media's circling, and inside the organization, everyone's pretending like nothing's wrong. But soon, someone's going to have to make a real decision. And when that day comes, it won't be about agents, politics, or loyalty anymore.
And say, we have to look at everything. And then, moments after, your handpicked quarterback, the guy that you like, right? The guy that clearly you have an affection for or a belief in that you don't have in the other guy. You cannot, after he just bleeped the bed, you cannot say he's safe. You cannot, the two things contradict themselves. You cannot say, we have to look at everything, and Dillon's our quarterback. No, if you're looking at everything, you're looking starting with the quarterback.
It'll be about survival, because no coach can hide behind fancy words and fake optimism forever. Sooner or later, reality kicks the door down. And that reality? It's a gifted quarterback wasting away on the sidelines while the franchise keeps chanting, everything's fine. Spoiler alert, it's not fine. It's Cleveland. What's even crazier is that all of this drama could have been avoided. When a player like Shedeur Sanders outperforms his peers in camp and still doesn't get first-team reps, fairness isn't just gone, it's buried 6 feet under. Somewhere out there, Coach Prime is definitely shaking his head, polishing those iconic shades, and wondering how the NFL managed to turn his son's talent into a masterclass in mismanagement. And let's be real, say what you want about Dillon Sanders, but he's raised fighters.
Dillon Gabriel is absolutely awful. I mean, you're talking about a quarterback that is small, he lacks escapability, and he's got a noodle.
He's raised competitors who don't expect handouts, and now his son's sitting there, watching politics beat performance in broad daylight. It's not just unfair, it's poetic in the most tragic way imaginable. The Browns, the team forever searching for that savior quarterback, might already have him sitting on their bench, but they're too busy protecting the guy with the right connections to notice. But here's the twist. That pressure's not going anywhere. It's building like a storm on the horizon. The fans are getting louder, the analysts are getting bolder, and the calm corporate act Cleveland's been putting on is about to crack wide open. When that happens, Shedeur will be right there, calm, ready, and waiting for his shot. And when he finally gets it, it won't just be a comeback, it'll be revenge through patience.
Not exactly the combination that you're looking for when it comes to trying to elevate your team. If we didn't have enough evidence, what he did on Sunday, the 2 turnovers in the third quarter, absolutely egregious. And then, oh, by the way, backed up in the end zone, you get an intentional grounding for a safety. One of the most embarrassing moments that we've seen from any quarterback in Cleveland. Just to contextualize.
The ultimate irony, the very man they benched might be the one to save their entire season. He's the living embodiment of stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Because when this shaky house of cards finally comes crashing down, and trust me, it will, the only one left standing will be the man who never stopped preparing. That's Shedeur Sanders, the quiet storm waiting in the Shedeur Duras, ready to flip the entire script when everyone else least expects it. And maybe that's the real punchline here. The Browns, those unintentional comedians of the NFL, somehow keep turning dysfunction into strategy. Stefanski will keep preaching patience, Gabriel will keep developing, and somewhere Jimmy Sexton will keep sipping his espresso, counting his checks, and watching the chaos unfold like a man who knows exactly how the story ends.
What we've seen from Dillon Gabriel, his 25.8 QBR is actually worse than the QBRs of Deshaun Kaiser and Kevin Hogan in the 2017 season when Cleveland went 0.
But the fans, they're not fooled anymore. They've seen this movie 100 times, and it always ends the same way. Promises, excuses, and another season full of what-ifs. Only this time, there's a twist. Because now, the secret's out. the connection, the agent, the quiet little web of loyalty that's been hiding behind every polite press conference. It's all out in the open now, and once people see it, you can't unsee it. So yeah, maybe it's just a coincidence that Shedeur's head coach happens to share the same agent as Dillon Gabriel's college mentors, or maybe it's corruption with a smile, or maybe, just maybe, it's classic Cleveland, where the drama never ends and quarterbacks change faster than excuses. But one thing's certain, this saga's not done yet.
How hard is it? How tough is it for you guys to have such a good defense for you to be out there getting 5 sacks and putting the team on your back and just to not have any offense to go with it?
It doesn't get any easier. Each week you ask me, so.
How do you feel about your performance today? Does the loss diminish how you feel about your performance today at all, I guess?
I would throw the whole performance away for a win.
Cleveland Brown fans, sit this one out. Let me step in for a moment. Yeah, to the coaching staff and ownership of the Cleveland Browns, what on earth are you doing? This Gabriel kid, 4 yards per attempt. 4 yards!
Because sooner or later, reality will come knocking, and the Browns will have to face the truth that talent can't stay benched forever. And when that day comes, the irony will hit hard. The same coach who refused to see the obvious will have no choice but to look right at it. The player he ignored will be the one holding the team's future in his hands, the one who stayed ready, who waited his turn, and who finally grabbed the pen to rewrite his own story. So, what do you think? Will Shedeur finally get his moment to shine? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more wild breakdowns like this one. See you on the next one.